Welcome to the Freedom Camp Podcast, rooted in truth, growing in freedom, and built on the belief that you weren't meant to grow alone. Each week, I'll share honest stories, insights, and simple questions to help you explore the unseen things that keep you from living in the freedom that's already yours. And take brave, intentional steps toward the life you were made for. This is your space to reconnect with your authentic self and grow in freedom on purpose. Hey there, welcome back to the Freedom Camp Podcast. Today we are doing something a little different. We started a new month, which means we are now focused on spirit this month for the month of August. And I had a whole thing planned out. And then I realized that there were some good fodder in what I'm going through right now in my life. And so I changed up what we did this week for Freedom Camp. And therefore, I'm changing up what I'm doing today in the podcast. So, what we're focused on today is a practical application for an image of walking off of your map. So, by that, what I mean is when you are in a place of faith, ultimately, what that means usually is you can't see in the natural realm how it's going to work. Because if you could, then you wouldn't need faith for it. So, this image of me walking off of my map is coming from um, a particular situation that's happening in my life right now that I'm going to share about in just a minute. But where I'm hoping that it will connect with you is in you thinking about a situation. Maybe there's something that's hard. There's something that you aren't sure how it's going to work out. The plan has run out. The path has disappeared. You don't know the next step. You can't see out to where it's going to end up going. That's the kind of thing that we're talking about today. And that's exactly what I'm going through. And then lastly, what we're going to do today, we're going to identify if you're going through something like that too. And then we're going to create a faith empowerment kit is what I'm calling it. We're going to create a thing that you can use that's personal to you for those moments when you're doubting, for those moments when you aren't sure, for those moments when you start to question, when you become that wave tossed about that James 1 talks about, this double-minded person, and your energy gets split. That's what we're focused on today. So if any of that resonates with you, stay tuned. And if it resonates with someone that you know and love, this is going to be another quick podcast. So it may be worth your time to stay tuned and share it with them. So what's happening with me is I'm currently in a place that I've been in many, many times. And that's what started it, was recognizing this pattern. The pattern, the place rather, is around one of the clients that I work with is going through some financial challenges and they're not currently able to pay me. And they're honest about it, and I appreciate that, and it happens sometimes, and we're we're good. Um, the reality is, though, I don't know. I can't see past August. Like August, okay. Past that, I don't know how it's going to work. And what I was noticing is that I was starting to get stressed out about it. And I was starting to worry, and I was starting to try and figure out, and I was starting to feel anxious. And I haven't talked that much about it, at least yet in this podcast, but I'm currently going through a really cool opportunity for a lot of holistic healing. So I was recently diagnosed with an autoimmune issue. And so I am learning that unmanaged stress is super no bueno, really for anyone, but particularly super no bueno for me. So I want to make sure that to the best of my ability, I am staying in faith and I am staying in trust and I am managing this in a way that is healthy, not only spiritually, but physically and emotionally and mentally as well. And so I got coaching on this with my awesome coach a week or so ago and was just sharing like, oh, what do I, how, what now? And the first thing that we really solidified is what's my intention? What do I want out of this? And so I was very clear that I wanted to stay in faith. So first of all, how do you want to respond, regardless of reality? And then from there, we move into the empowerment kit. Oh, and last little disclaimer, because this story is about money, I want to put the disclaimer out because it can be a very triggering subject for a lot of people. This actually has nothing to do with money. This has to do with faith, trust, um, believing God's goodness for us, remembering the past and all the times that God has shown up. And full reality, full disclosure, there have been some hard times. So there's also this kind of tug of war. And so I just want to put the disclaimer out that while the subject is money, this really isn't about money at all. So if you're feeling any tugging and triggering because I'm talking about money, pretend like I'm talking about apples, pretend like I'm talking about hugs, whatever else does not trigger you, because money's not the issue. It'll be all right. The issue is how do we stay in faith when we can't see how to do it, which really is what faith is. But that's easier said than done, I guess, is ultimately what I'm trying to say. So, um, where I want to start is I just want to give a few questions for you to think about or to jot down right now. You can hit pause and connect in with an area that you may be walking off your map. So one is, where in your life are you struggling to trust? Where or what feels uncertain or heavy or delayed, like stalled? Like maybe you keep trying to get momentum in an area and it's just like not going. And then what emotions come up for you when you're thinking about this? So now that you've got those three things, the anchor scripture for this entire thing and this podcast is Hebrews 11:1. And so I'll read it out and then I'll share one more activity that I think will be helpful for you. So in reading it, Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance of what we do not see." So, right there, it's assurance of what we do not see. Hmm. Okay, that's where the image of walking off the map came from. Um, the activity is to take this scripture and make it personal for you. So by that, I mean not lose the essence of the scripture in any way, but rather to make it so that it applies to your personal situation. And I like to do this because I find that it helps me to better integrate, better incorporate scripture into my heart and my life instead of just like cognitively knowing what it says, but not doing. It helps me apply the word. So an example could be for my situation. Now faith is provision continuing past August. An assurance that even though I don't see how it will be, or something like that. I could probably wordsmith that a lot better, but you get the gist. So really good activity to come to maybe when this podcast is over, and I'll put these questions in the show notes. Give yourself a little time and journal on this and make it personal for you so that you can really connect in with Hebrews 11:1. The last part is looking at building this empowerment kit. So there's this balance again between feeling like you're in faith and being in faith. And so I like to think of it as faith is like a rhythm. It's something, you get up and you get dressed every day, or you brush your teeth, or you walk the dog, or whether you have bubbly feelings about it or angry feel like it it doesn't really matter how you feel when it comes to faith. It's more about what your intention is and where your energy is. So, some questions to help you build out your faith empowerment kit are: what truths anchor you when you feel afraid? Where's your anchor? Um, who or what helps you to stay grounded and connected to God? What spiritual habits support you? And here you could think of, worship music, specific scriptures, decreeing scriptures over your life, asking for prayer, talking to God, all those kinds of things, journaling. Um, and then the last one is, can you think of a time that God moved in your life in the past or in someone else's life? And can you use that as an encouragement? Can you use that as a reminder? There are tons of stories for this for me. One in particular, many years ago, I was in a similar situation and I was out hiking and I saw a river otter in the water, and the river otter was doing river otter things. It would, get a bite to eat, and then it would flip over on its back and it would eat. And then when it was done, it would go swim around and then it would go get another bite to eat. And there was this very simple, trusting beauty to the way that this river otter was behaving and was acting, and the way that it was going with the flow, and it was trusting that things were going to work out. And shortly after I saw this river otter, and I was praying to God as I saw it, and I was like, oh, I want to be like this river otter. I don't want to be all scared and like, oh, how am I going to, feed myself and figure this all out? And I basically had like almost no money left, and like I didn't know what I was going to eat for dinner. Like it was at that point. This was back in my single days. So I look down and I see a power bar. This is how long ago it was. It was that one of those first protein bars. And it was my favorite flavor too. And it's just laying there, unopened, ready to go. And I thought, "Ah, awesome. Like now I'm like a river otter." And then it gets better because I keep hiking and I found another one. And it was like, I don't know, like a mile plus down. It was not even close. So anyway, I ended up finding two. I ate them the next day. Phone call comes in. Hey, I know someone that's looking for someone, blah, blah. I mean, and off to the races we go. So there can be a lot of value in a personal experience or knowing a story. The Israelites in the desert and the manna came every day, but they couldn't hoard it. They had to trust that every day more manna would be provided. That could be another example for me. So now we're almost done. We're going to take the answers to those questions and we're going to create this little three-part empowerment kit from it. So the first one is, what can you do when doubt hits? What scripture? What's grounding you to God? What's helping you to trust? What's keeping you in God's plan for your life versus you going off and coming up with your own plan for your life? Number two, how can you feed your spirit daily? What can you do to nourish your spirit? Which, by the way, will help you to not be tossed about so much. If your spirit is full, then the chance that you're going to get your energy off and cross focused and everything is going to be a lot less. And then the last one is, we're not meant to grow alone. So maybe prayer would be helpful for you. Maybe reaching out and asking someone to check in on you, asking someone to pray with you. Maybe there's some type of support. Um, and and this is supposed to be like doable. It doesn't need to be read the Bible for 3 hours a day. If you have 3 hours a day to read the Bible, knock yourself out. I don't. This is this is what's doable for you. You can make sticky notes. You can put it in your phone. You can put it on your bedroom mirror to remind yourself every morning and every night. Whatever makes sense for you and your lifestyle, you want to have it available. You want to have your empowerment kit available. And then the last part is an image of roots growing deep down into the soil. That's what this work is really like. This isn't necessarily noticeable work to other people. It may be noticeable to those that like live with you and really know you. But this is the deep kind of unseen spiritual work that really helps us to grow. It's also the kind of work that really helps when the wind comes. So if you think of yourself like a tree and you're digging your roots down into the soil and they're wide and they're deep. Well, when a windstorm comes, you're going to be able to withstand that wind. Versus if your roots are shallow, where are my hands? Okay, if they're shallow and not deep, then when the wind comes, bloop, over goes the tree. We want to be firmly rooted and deeply rooted in God and in our freedom. Um, so that's really it. I did want to leave you with a concept, image, theory, quote, something. I don't know. What it is that faith is holding the unseen with both hands and knowing that God is already there. Like that God's even holding you as you are holding on to this faith. Um, and then lastly, because Freedom Camp only opens 3 times a year, and we are going to open for the last time this year in September. If you are interested in learning more about joining us in Freedom Camp, where these are the types of things that we do week in and week out, we do it together though. We do it in real time, we do it with support, and we do it in community. Um, Check out the show notes. There'll be a website link where you can learn more. And then I just wanted to remind you that we are not meant to grow alone and that you are invited to join us in Freedom Camp, and also in the comments below. Like I was saying before, maybe there's something in your empowerment kit that is going to be really helpful for someone else. Maybe there's something in the way that you rewrote Hebrews 11:1 that's going to give language to something for someone else. So feel free to use the comment section to share how this is impacting you, what God's doing in you and through you with all of this. And we will see you next week. Thanks for listening to the Freedom Camp podcast, where we believe freedom is nurtured from within and grows when you tend to it. If this stirred something in you, let it take root this week and see what grows. And if you enjoyed this or found it meaningful, please give the gift of a review, share it with a friend, and leave a comment below. It helps us build this podcast community because we weren't meant to grow alone.